Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
War, warfare, terrorism, terror attacks, state-sponsored terror, non-state actors. All these things we've been talking about, debating now for 3 decades. All these have been part of our lives. Except when we mention any of these terms, usually we think of countries that harbor terrorist groups, or we think of terrorist groups which may be located in one place or multinational, like say the ISIS. But this definition has now begun to change. That means the definition of all these terms has begun to change. The actions are still very similar. They are meant to cause damage to a large number of people and to extract a blackmail in return. Except the blackmail now tends to be money more than strategic benefit. For example, in India, we've been accusing Pakistan of using terror as a blackmail, terror as an instrument of state policy. So that is to achieve some strategic objectives or state objectives. But now terror can also be used for financial benefit, to achieve financial benefits. And terror attacks can be purely the placement of ransomware or malware, or basically bugs in other people's computer systems, or to threaten the big infrastructure supplies in some place. In episode 694, we had spoken about how Bombay power system, in fact, in large parts of Maharashtra, the power system had shut down last year because of what was seen to be a Chinese-inspired terror attack. That may have been directed to give India a message that just as the forces of the two sides were squaring up in East Ladakh, that we can fight this war with you, not on the borders, but elsewhere. So that was still meant to be the use of new technology warfare, cyber warfare, for strategic or tactical benefit. But you see now a new manifestation of it. It's been going on for some time, but a new striking manifestation of how this works and how groups that indulge, these are also terror groups, and these are also non-state actors, even if they are harbored by some states, which seems to be the suspicion in many of these cases. But these are non-state actors. They can bring the strongest power, the biggest states in the world down on their knees, as happened in America just this last week. So last Friday, Colonial Pipeline, one of the biggest oil and gas pipeline companies in the world, in America, that pipeline supplies nearly 50%, a little less than 50%, maybe between 45 and 50 of all oil and gas to the east coast of America, or the Atlantic coast of America. West coast, as we know, is the Pacific. So that pipeline had to be shut down. Why? Because the company that runs the pipeline, called Colonial Pipeline, based in Georgia, Atlanta, they got information, or they sensed that ransomware was being placed in their main databases. So they got worried that God knows what is happening here, and they shut down the pipeline. As they shut down the pipeline, there was chaos in America, because East Coast is where some of the most populated cities of America and urban centers and population centers live, including New York City. So pipeline, because the company shut down the pipeline, there was a shortage of gas. The price of gas went up. People began hoarding. There was crowding outside gas stations, or petrol pumps, as we say in India. People stocking up. The president himself, President Biden, had to make an appeal to people not to hoard, saying that soon enough we'll fix this will be all right. So in some ways, I know that this is not an exact parallel. This is also a bit of maybe a hasty parallel, but just for ease of understanding, it was a bit like the situation where India has been running short of oxygen. So can you imagine America, a society that runs on the automobile, an economy that runs on the automobile, suddenly worrying about the lack of gas, lack of fuel for their vehicles. So that's what happened. And then something more dramatic happened. Now, it became known that this was a ransomware attack. This was a cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline's main databases. Soon enough, it looks like the company found the keys to resolve this. And now it's been widely reported, although nobody is acknowledging it, the company is not acknowledging it, and the US government says we don't know, but it's not a good thing, it's a bad idea to have done this. If somebody has done this, what is the company supposed to have done? They are supposed to have paid a ransom to this company and this organization which carried out this cyber attack. The organization's name is DarkSide, as one word, but DNS capital, DarkSide, and it's generally believed that it's either based somewhere in Russia or in one of these East European countries which were part of the Soviet bloc earlier, or maybe one of the CIS countries as they are called, which were part of the Soviet Union earlier. That is what has been traced. Also, there is some evidence that this company or this organization does not carry out attacks in Russian-speaking countries, in Russia itself, and also countries which are post-Soviet states, which used to be part of the Soviet Union earlier. Also, this company does not attack the software or software systems in any country where Russian language is used. So it does look like that this software which this company uses has a Russian language origin. So it knows that if it starts encrypting those countries or scrambling the communication in those countries where Russian language is used, maybe they'll be able to unscramble its own ransomware. I may be getting the technology of it wrong, but I think अक्लमंद को इशारा काफ़ी होता है. You know what I'm getting at. So, Colonial Pipeline paid apparently, and these are stories in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, not denied, they paid the equivalent of $5 million. That is the equivalent of about 38 crore rupees only, right? There is honor among thieves. Right? I will not make an unreasonable demand. This should be worth your while to pay to prevent such a big disaster in all of America. So $5 million, but if I take the money, if I take a bank transfer, how will I account for it? So how do I do it? I do it in the currency of the future, as it is called. So virtual business, ransomware, using digital technology, using digital sabotage, using cyber weapons of terror, non-state actor. I will also take my bribe or my ransom in non-state money. And what is that non-state money? Bitcoin. So Colonial Pipeline paid this ransom in 75 Bitcoin, which is equivalent of $5 million. So this entire operation is now a non-state operation. So US government, in fact, the White House spokesperson said when asked if they know if the company had paid this ransom, she said, we don't know, but we don't think it's a good idea. But the fact is, this is now becoming a business. This is the new terrorism, and these are the new non-state actors, I repeat. So when I'm reading up this stuff from American media, and I'm sharing some of these articles with you in the links today with the description, please read them. We also know that these guys are so smart that they also planted ransomware in the computers of the Washington Metropolitan Police and asked for a ransom. So this is called Choro ko mor pad gaya, right? These guys are actually blackmailing the police. And then they say that the Washington Metropolitan Police offered them so little money as ransom that it wasn't worth their while to deal with them. Obviously, how much money can the police pay you? They might pay you their, maybe a few days per diem or something. What else can they pay you, or some source money if they have? They can't pay you millions because they are, after all, government employees. It's a government department. But these are people with the cheek to attack the Washington Metropolitan Police Department's computers. That is the police department's computers in the capital city of the most powerful country in the world, also the most technologically advanced country in the world, and asked for a ransom. And when they found, as they complained, that the ransom offered to them was very little, they said to hell with it. So they just dumped a lot of the data that they had picked up through their ransomware attack on Washington police, which amounted to about 250 gigabytes of data. And that database included all the databases that the Washington police uses to trace gangsters, organized crime gangs, criminals, crime leaders, etc., etc., etc. That is the power of these non-state actors, and that is the power of these new weapons of terror, where no blood is shed, at least not by shooting somebody, blowing up somebody, or cutting somebody up. Now think of what happened with this pipeline. Once Colonial stopped the pipeline, this pipeline is 5,500 miles or about 8,850 kilometers. I will also suggest that you read an explainer on this done by my young colleague P.R. Krishnan Kutty, which also I am sharing with you with the description. So when a pipeline operator stops these operations and then lifts these operations, that means that then resumes these operations, oil doesn't or gas doesn't start flowing immediately. It has to start at some end. It has to travel the distance. Again, I'm oversimplifying it. So it cannot resume immediately. So Biden came out to reassure his people saying, look, these things can't be switched on and off. This is now coming. Don't panic. Don't start hoarding. Also, the US reached out to its cyber command and asked them to check where this attack had come from. They also discovered that 8 websites that are connected with DarkSide, these organizations have shut down. So the Cyber Command also asked National Security Council for help, and in fact they've been now diverting questions from the media to the National Security Council, which hasn't said very much, but you can see how serious a threat it was in America and how serious a crisis it caused in America, that America, actually President Biden relaxed what is called as the Jones Act in America. What Jones Act says is that vessels of another country cannot take cargo from one domestic port in America to another domestic port in America. Now, because the pipeline was not working, they needed all kinds of vessels to take this oil and gas from one place to the other, mostly from Texas. So they lifted this Jones Act for some time so this could be carried out. They also relaxed some of their general regulations and environmental regulations so that their fuel supplies do not come to a standstill. President Biden said that he's going to meet Putin soon. He will take it up with him. And in case it's found out that the Russian government in some ways was involved with it, then there will be consequences. In fact, the government spokesmen have also said, Biden has also said, that they cannot rule out retaliatory measures to disrupt their ability to operate. That means the attackers' ability to operate. Now, I don't know, or from what I am reading, I am not figuring it out, whether this shutdown of these 8 websites connected with DarkSide has got to do with any retaliatory measure or not. I'm too innocent technologically to be able to answer that question. Now, I used an expression earlier, honor among thieves. So honor among thieves means that this company, DarkSide, for example, functions like a commercial company. In fact, as I am reading up more, I read up wisdom from many cybersecurity companies in America, Britain, etc., etc. So this company actually has a help desk, a front office, phone numbers. So victims can call the company and seek redressal. Somebody quotes the price for them, and once they are quoted a price and the price is paid, I presume in Bitcoin, this problem is sorted out. The first time this company came to surface was in August 2020, and it is generally understood that it has some tacit approval of the Russian government. How they function is, or what the methodology is, again, it's difficult for me to explain, but I'll try. What they do is they get your database, they then put some encrypted stuff in your database to encrypt it and to scramble it. So your own system, because it's scrambled, it is now locked up. So your system has been bound up, your system can't function. Now you know that if your computer systems are not functioning, it can cause a big disaster elsewhere. It may just be a disaster with your operations. With a bank, it may be a disaster with your data. With a hospital system, it may be a disaster with your medical data. Now to get out of that, once you pay them, they give you the key to de-encrypt the encryption that they've put in. So that's the reason I said it's honor among thieves, very upfront, very straightforward. But obviously, this is not something the world is going to take very kindly to. It is now the new threat in the world. In December 2020, another American firm called SolarWinds, it was a big IT firm that had also been similarly attacked. That was traced to a Russian origin. That also led to big trouble, and because of that hack attack or that ransomware attack on SolarWinds, the big American IT firm, whoever attacked it was then able to get enough information, enough technical information and data to then be able to spy on 16,000 other computer systems worldwide. So that is how this works, and now the Americans are saying that they are realizing that their system is very vulnerable to similar attacks, not just by Russian groups, but private groups based anywhere, also by Iranians, mafias, and some of the others as well. So this is the new frontier in warfare, terrorism, state-sponsored terror groups, and also non-state actors. I thought this was fascinating and we should talk in some detail about this. Having said this, I will also follow our current pattern of mentioning something about COVID. So COVID, one good news today is that a new vaccine has now been approved. So next week for commercial sales, the Russian Sputnik 5 vaccine will be available. The price, the company Dr. Reddy's Labs, who's the Indian partner and who will also be manufacturing this vaccine going ahead, they've given a price of 948 rupees plus 5% GST. So it comes to 995. It's neatly like a Bata price. If you've been buying shoes from Batas in the past, they always used to be 395 rupees, not 400 like that. So this comes to 995. So still 5 short of 4 figures. So this is what marketing people would have called Bata pricing. 995, on which, remember, if you go to a hospital or a nursing home which is administering this, they will put their own service charge. I am told that that might be another 300 rupees or so. But the good thing is, one more vaccine has now come in. Right now the supplies are not very big. The first consignment, which has been cleared now, was just 1.5 lakh. The second consignment, this press release from Russian Direct Investment Fund, which is the Russian Sovereign Wealth Fund, this press release tells us that the second consignment will come this week. The government regulator tells us that first clearance of first consignment took 2 weeks, but in future now consignments will be cleared very quickly, one in, one out on that basis. So we will see one more vaccine in the market, and it's quite certain that in weeks to come these numbers will go up. And I would say that at least in this 18 to 45 market, some supply constraints will begin to ease from about 3rd week of this month. That will also be when the 2 Indian manufacturers, that is Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech, also have scaled up their production a little bit to start selling to the state governments and also for commercial buyers.